Hey everyone, and welcome to another episode of Community. I get the best opportunity today because, one, I love doing these IRL. Love. And I get to talk to one of my little business besties, Cher. Hi, Cher.
Hi.
Cher is telling me she was nervous only because I gave her no preparation.
Absolutely no prep.
Yesterday, she was like, so what are you going to just like rip? I'm like, yeah, we're going to rip.
We're ripping.
I have some things I want to talk to you about.
I'm glad that you haven't shared those with me. You just kept those to yourself. Thank you so much. I'm used to being on your side of the mic, and I'm never nervous. And now I'm like, oh, okay, crap.
You got to marinate. Like, I didn't want you to marinate too much.
Right.
Think about it too much, you know?
Just off the cuff.
Yeah.
Great.
Okay, tell everyone a bit about you and your business, what you do.
Sure. So as Kristina said, my name is Cher. I'm a real estate agent in Waterloo Region in Ontario. And love that business. Been doing it for over 10 years.
Wow.
Lots of different seasons within that business. And in the past few years, I've really added on coaching other women in real estate because people have often been asking me, how are you doing this? How are you doing it all? I haven't grown my real estate business in the traditional way that people teach you. A lot of the older team leaders teach you and older brokers teach you. And I think that sparked a lot of interest. So started doing workshops and trialed a membership. And I think I'll be launching a course soon that's just basically like, listen, if you have this course, you have my whole business plan. That's it. Copy paste.
Yeah. Okay, love that. So many things there because one of the things I love the most about you, Cher, is that you are so like generous with information. Do you ever get worried about like if I give people too much information, they won't buy from me, or if I give people too much information, maybe they'll see more success than me or something like that?
Never.
Yeah.
Never thought that because I guess I looked at my own practices and when I'm looking at someone's social media, for example, and deciding whether or not I want to buy, I'm like, wow, this person is a wealth of knowledge.
Yeah.
Can't imagine how much more is there. And I want that wealth of knowledge to be customized then to my situation. So yes, I'm still going to work with them because you're clearly very smart and knowledgeable in this field. So now I want you to talk to me specifically and individually and apply your knowledge to my situation so I can take your knowledge and go farther with it.
Right.
So I've never thought oversharing was going to do that. And if anything, it's just a benefit. Like even if someone got what they needed from my free content, I think they would share it with someone else and that would grow my visibility and then maybe that would gain a customer. I don't know. I just always think there's like abundance and there's an opportunity on the other side, even in the worst case scenario, which means like, oh, you shared so much, someone didn't buy. There's always something else coming, right?
Yeah. I find it too, like we do a lot of like information sharing, resource sharing. And there have been people that like have straight up copied us, like, you know, like exactly the same. And I just feel like there's one, enough for everybody, but two, not telling people to go copy people, but two, it's like people find the people that they love to work with, right? Like, so even if like one person says something, you and I say the same thing, someone might resonate more with you than they do with me or whatever. So it's just interesting because I think a lot of times people, especially when they're coaching, they have a lot of fear around like giving too much information. Well, I'm like totally the opposite. I'm like, give it all away.
I think that comes across, though, in your messaging. If you're coming from a place, if you're creating content from a place of like, I'm going to hold back on purpose, I think the audience can now feel that. Like the audience is getting really smart on even just picking up the vibes, you know, like the tonality in people's voices, the body language, because there's so much out there. There's so much fakeness out there that they've become really attuned to who's genuine and who's not. So if you're holding back, I think they'll pick up on that. And I've always believed that I heard this, oh my gosh, I can't remember her last name. I think her name is Carrie. It's the She Means Business
Green
book. Carrie Green, yes. I think I heard it from her, and she might have been quoting someone else, but it really resonated with me years ago, early in my career, because there's thousands of real estate agents, right? And so when I was just focusing on real estate agents, I guess it applies now to real estate coaches, but it's not the message, it's the messenger. And that's what makes everything unique. Like you said, multiple people can say the same thing. yet someone will resonate with one over the other. And that's also why I'm not scared to coach my literal local competition.
Yeah.
Is because I'm not scared of giving them all of the information. We all know that only 5% will actually implement. And B, even out of the 5% that implement, they're just different humans than me.
Yeah.
Right?
How have you found, like, I'm curious, putting yourself back like 10 years, you're getting started, you're building your real estate business. What were the first few things you did to get your first few clients?
Okay, so I cheated because if you take me back 10 years, I got it because I fell in love with the home building industry, which my father tricked me full on bait and switched me into. It was not my plan whatsoever. I started in public relations, but I was doing him a quote unquote favor and helping him with his company. And then I fell in love with it. And then I was like, there's no one better to sell your homes, obviously, than me. So got my license, started selling his homes. So if we then fast forward to getting into the resale market where, you don't just sit in a model home and customers come to you and you have the builder as your customer as well. The first things I did was Instagram. So when I look back and I think about my build, it was while having the full-time job / having babies. I'm like, hey, if I can master one thing at a time, one day my business will have everything and it will be seamless. So my first thing was, how can I show up consistently on something? And so I was like, I'm already on Instagram. I love Instagram, love sharing, love consuming on there. So I'm going to do that. And I already can share my life on there, but how can I just sprinkle a little real estate? So the people who love following me because I share about my life, it's just planting the little seed that I can also help you with your real estate. And if you like me in my life, you're going to love me as your realtor too. So I was like, hey, I'm going to show up on stories every Monday. It's going to be Market Monday. What's something that's even low capacity, doesn't require a lot of, what am I going to share today on Market Monday? I'm always trying to ask myself, how's the easiest way to do this?
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, well, there's no decision fatigue around just sharing the stats of a neighborhood, right? We have 50 different pockets in the region. So I just start in, one pocket and work my way through the region and be like, hey, in this pocket, this is what sales looked like recently. And this is what great opportunities are on the market right now. If you want me to deep dive into your neighborhood, drop your neighborhood here. And then I just did that every Monday.
Right.
So it was low pressure. If I did more, great. If I just did that, that's cool too. And there was no decision fatigue. Everything was right there for me.
Yeah, I love that. Well, my favorite part of that is that you just decided to just start it, right? And give yourself low-hanging fruit. I think when a lot of people think about, their first few clients, they're showing up on social media and they're doing the most and they're trying things, but they don't give enough time for something to actually work. And you were just adding value over and over again, hoping it would turn into something. And what did you find from that? People would DM you and then it would start conversations and build relationships. And then when they needed you, you were top of mind.
Yeah. So it's funny. I just stuck with it even when there was crickets.
Yeah.
Because I have the belief that as long as you're putting something out there, it's going to come back just at some point. So you just have to believe that. So some people, they start doing something like this and they don't get any answers in their question box and their views aren't going up or their followers aren't going up or, 4 months has passed and they don't have a client. I'm like, I don't care. I mean, the best way to not continue the best way to continue to not get a client is to stop.
Yeah.
So don't stop.
Yeah.
Right? And no one knows that the question box is getting answered. That doesn't mean you stop showing up. You just keep showing up. So what happened there is, because I was doing the low-hanging fruit, as you said, it started with the people who were already following me.
Yeah.
Right? They just gained that extra confidence is oh, I've been following Cher for a while. I like her as a person. Now, I've seen her share about stats. She actually knows what she's talking about with real estate. So that was I got the low-hanging fruit, which was the kind of the friends that were already following. Yeah. And then there's something I like to call the capacity gap. And so when I started this series on Mondays, I had the capacity gap of only doing that Monday. But it became so easy and so natural, that my capacity gap appeared again. And that's when I could then add something else. So now maybe I'm adding like a reel about real estate or something. Or, on another day, I started another series, for example, on stories. So you just do the reps and you stick to the one thing you have capacity for. And the second that feels like second nature and easy and you get your capacity gap back, you fill the gap with something else. And then it just builds and builds and builds.
Yeah, I love that. One of the things I love the most about that is this idea of like continuing even when it's crickets,
Oh, yeah.
Because I think that's one of the hardest parts of entrepreneurship is when, me and Maria would call it the well's dry. Like we'll be like, the well is dry. How will we ever get another client? There is no one else in the world who wants to launch a podcast. There is no one else who needs any social media help. Like it's done. And we have never met anyone else who needs any help. And then all of a sudden it's a huge influx, but we maintain the same activities, right? Like we're posting on social, we're going to events, we're connecting with people. If I have the capacity, I'll go to a few super connector friends and say, hey, I'd love some intros. Who do I need to know? Right? Like want to build my referral network up. Like I'll do those like kind of sales activities even when it's busy, even when it's hard, even when it's slow, even when it's hard. Right. But I think too many people will be like I actually all the time talk to people who are like in a cricket season and they're doing nothing. And I'm like, that'll actually prolong it. Like the crickets,
exactly.
You're letting more crickets in the house.
Well, I have two stories to, relate to that. The first is, one of my coaching clients, she sent emails out. We got her into email marketing, which I'm so passionate about.
Yeah, Cher actually said to me one time, if I wasn't a realtor and I did coach realtors, I would run an email marketing agency. And I was like, such a flawed idea. I hate this idea for you. If you do it, do come talk to me. But look out for better your business emails.
Because I know so many small business owners and they don't have an email list. I'm like, what are you doing?
No,
that's
I know.
just so easy, right? And so anyways, they're so obsessed with Instagram, yet there's no email to complement it. It blows my mind. Anyways, so I got her on email marketing. And she sent out an email, let's say, to 100 people.
Right.
And she was like, 3 people unsubscribed. I got discouraged. I stopped sending. And I was like, okay, so now not only are those 3 people not getting your email, but the other 97 are getting your email. And they chose not to unsubscribe when they got your email. So, what are we doing here? I thought the point was to capture them, right? Like the people who want to hear from you and focus on that. So many people focus on the negative.
Totally.
And it's so common in real estate. I don't know what it's like in other businesses, but we're kind of driven by the economy in a way. And I think real estate agents can get sucked into that. And maybe other people can too in business, right? It's like you hear the news, the economy's bad. We're going to tighten the purse strings. And I'm like, that's the opposite of what I do in those moments. Just like you were talking about, is even in your down moments, you stay consistent. In my down moments, I double down.
Yeah,
and
same.
And then history shows it right up after.
Well, our mutual friend Stacy, and I'll get to your second story, but our mutual friend Stacy always says, we had a season, I think it was maybe 2 years ago, where I lost a ton of clients in one go. It was it was nuts. But it was the economy. We could see it. It was the news. It was when Trump was elected. It was so we saw it. There was a lot of fear. And when people are scared, that's the first thing that goes, marketing. They're like, oh, I actually, I don't want to market this anymore, or I'm going to take this in-house, or I'm going to do this myself, or whatever that looks like. So we lost a ton of clients, probably in 3 weeks, $20,000 of recurring revenue. Yeah. So that's pretty significant on $1 million business. So I go to Stacey, I'm like, all right, well, this was an awesome run, and I am...
I'm retired.
Yeah, I'm so good now, and I'm actually going to go get a 9-to-5 where this doesn't matter. I was very secure before. And she was like, you need to double down because this is where millionaires are made. And I was like, okay. And we recouped that revenue with more aligned, bigger clients within, 2 or 3 months. Most of those people, unfortunately, who had stopped working with us aren't in business anymore, right? So it wasn't about us. We weren't the ones taking them down. So I think, if you can, in those moments, that doesn't mean, not to feel the shitty. If you, it's talk about it. Talk about it with a business bestie. Acknowledge it. But that's the time where, you got to weather the storm.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, especially marketing. Marketing equals sales. So it's the first thing to go when really it should be the last thing to go. But people see it as so disposable, right? But I'm like, okay, but that's literally how you make your money. Is there another thing you can cut that is not the money generating activity?
Well, it's so funny because I actually find too, a lot of people will cut it and they really like struggle with it. They're like, oh, like, I think I'm going to go in-house. I'm going to do this myself or whatever. And I'm like, this is actually the time where like I know people when they experience like a lull like that in the market or whatever that looks like, they actually double invest in their marketing because they're like, oh, I'm going to actually go hard. So even we were chatting with somebody who works at the chamber, but they used to do sales for like printing ads. And I was like, oh, like, like the economy, like whatever. And she was like, yeah, like when I used to do ad sales, she's like, that was the time when we saw that the economy was down. We would double down on advertising because other people were pulling back. Yeah. So we actually just saw it as like a huge opportunity, right? So I think there's like good and bad in both in looking at things like that. But I think with marketing, it's so important, like especially in a business like yours where, you could make no sales for 8 months and then go ham for 4 months and make triple what I make.
Yeah.
But you have to maintain that perspective.
Yeah, you really do. You just have to maintain the belief.
Yeah.
And just obviously like your economics of your business is important, but like maintain the belief, see where the opportunity is. And the opportunity is usually where other people are running scared.
Yeah.
And you should run forward because the market is saturated in a good time, and why not play in an unsaturated market that's temporary, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, what was your second story? I took you out.
I told
that was
both
it.
stories.
Okay, perfect. Yeah. Okay, great. Goodness. I was worried I took you out. Okay, so I'm curious for you. Like, I know local community has been so important for you. And obviously not everyone listening to this podcast wants to become a realtor. And if you do want to become a realtor, you got to do with Cher. I always say if I'm to become a realtor, which I would be good. I have bad attention to detail, but I think I could sell a home.
I mean, someone would just have to do the paperwork for you.
Yeah, I would need an admin assistant.
Yeah, it'd be great.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah. I would join Cher's team. I would be, I'd be following Cher around. But I'm curious for you, like local community has been so big, and that's an obvious thing with a real estate agent, right? Where you're like, okay, like you want to sell like local homes. Do you think local community is as important for all business owners? And if someone was listening to this and they had like any type of business, what would be some of the things you'd tell them to do to get involved locally?
Yeah. So I think local community is important for everybody. Like even yourself, who you can work with someone in Australia, right? Like local and do. Good for you. But I still think it's so important because there is nothing like the in real life community, right? Where like you can get together for the lunch, you can have those one-on-ones. It's everything. But then if you are doing anything else, like let's say you're a flower shop and you're really struggling and you keep hitting the same block, wouldn't it be amazing to call another flower shop local to you and have that relationship and be like, are you facing this too? Did you face this a couple years ago? Can you help me through? And finding those like-minded, collaborative mindset people, of course. But then, if you are I'm trying to think of an example. Let's say a mortgage agent.
Yeah.
And you want to, and mortgage agents like, my mortgage agent can help anyone across Canada.
Right.
But if she wants to create community like here in Waterloo and a lot of people within the community, let's say she wants to put an event. When I put on events, it's so funny because I referenced before, everybody always says, how do you do all of this? I do all of this because I'm well connected.
Yeah.
And I'm well connected not by accident, not by a fluke. It's because I show up for other people constantly.
Yeah.
I do all of this because everything that needs to be done is a text message away. There's never a no on the other end. And so if you want your business to feel easy and if you want to have fun, I think the local community is what
totally
brings that together, right? Like anytime I need anything, someone is a text message away. I remember I was coaching this one real estate agent and she was just like, I don't understand about events and sponsors and blah, blah, blah. Like, how do you even get started about like where to host it and who to sponsor and a gift basket? I was like, well, I've been showing up in this community for a decade now, right? Like, someone is having a sale, I share it on Instagram and tag them and, send people their way. Someone is having a book launch. I show up to that book launch.
Yeah.
When I've got some cash in my pocket and someone's running events for moms, I say, how can I help sponsor? Like, can I pay for the, flowers or something like that? That's how you show up in your local community, is you make the deposits, and then the withdrawals are literally a text message away. It's an instant yes. How can I help more? How can I share? Can I come? Can I give you a free facial to give away? It's easy.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, we're so like-minded in that sense too, because I think for me, it's like, actually, I would say like I'm only recently now, I think, getting more local. Like before, when we started High Vibe Women, we were doing so much in the U.S., which is like why we started High Vibe Women. And then now it is just so easy for me to make asks. But also, similarly, like you and I are at events all the time. Like we're always going to stuff locally. Oh, it's somebody's thing. Bring flowers. Oh, it's somebody, like it's part of the ecosystem of doing business. And before we hit record, we were talking about, our financials this year. And it's always good to have friends that you can talk to about this kind of stuff too, where you can be like, how are you doing? Okay, this is your year. Like, we're going like after it. I'm always expanding Cher's goals. She's like, I actually don't want to make that much money. I'm like, it's time. But, we were talking about that, and it's just so interesting about how, like in your year and as you, grow your business, like, these relationships are actually like what help you expand. And we were talking about how I was saying, we've made more money this year at this point than we ever have. And I actually don't feel like I have any extra money. Like, it's not like I'm like, oh my goodness, like, wow, like we're, almost double where we were last year this time.
Yeah, like you don't feel that way.
Yeah, I'm about to buy this building we're in right now. But it's more like I'm like, you just find more things to spend on, more people to support, more like more into the ecosystem. So it's just funny how that's such a big piece of it.
Yeah, but having that mindset will just keep bringing more in.
Yes,
and
totally.
The thing is you can, you can slow that down at any point. You can ramp it up. You can pause it at any point. But like making the conscious decision of continuing to pour into the community in some way year over year has only created more revenue year over year.
Yeah, totally.
So why stop? Like, just keep doing it. And the more you give out, the more you're going to get back.
Yeah, 100%. When you started coaching realtors on this, like, did you get pushback?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, because so many real estate agents are wired and trained in just such one specific way. So even when I taught them how I run community events, I said I built my business based on community events that are supplemented by Instagram and email. That's literally like my little triangle. It creates everything. All of it is easy. All of it is practically free. And the pushback from the industry was automatically like, that's too expensive. I'm like, well, why is it too expensive? Well, if you're running client events, you don't charge your clients. It's an appreciation event. So I was like, nobody said I'm running client events.
Yeah.
It's just like some of us are so wired in one way of how an industry has done it that there's just instant pushback and there's no curiosity.
Yeah.
And curiosity is pretty much like the foundation of my business as well. And I think it's a foundation of relationship-based businesses, because the more you're curious about a situation or somebody, then the bigger the relationship is, and like the more value that comes out of the relationship, right?
Totally.
So the pushback comes from assumptions.
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting because I think the curiosity piece is just so key, because like you have to try things before knowing that they don't work. Like, and I think that's something that like a lot of business owners like really struggle with, even though it's like Maria and I have always been people that were like, let's see.
Yeah.
Like, let's see how that goes. Like, for example, we recently last year, we had a friend who had a podcast, and it was like a take over my podcast kind of thing. So we like recorded an episode and we were on her podcast. Did we see ROI from that? No. Noted. Like, like probably won't do something like that again. But, we've done other things that have given us ROI 10x, 100x. So, okay, we're going to lean more into that area. But we couldn't have known without trying things, right? Or we've been in rooms where I'm like, oh, actually, like, these aren't my people. And noted. Good to know. I only have to come once. Like, you get to choose and get to try different things.
Yeah, I think people put a lot of this like permanent pressure on things. So they're like, they're asking themselves, I'll use YouTube as an example. should I have a YouTube? I've seen other agents be successful with YouTube. Should I do it? And then they put this permanent pressure on. It's like, well, if I start, I can't stop. And I'm like, well, it's a free country. You can actually do whatever
you
the
have
fuck
free
you want,
will.
and you are an entrepreneur. So that's the point. You can do what you want. So I was in the same boat. I started a YouTube channel. I found it incredibly draining. Like, it just lasted a couple of months, and then I was like, I'm going to stop.
Yeah, I'm just going to turn this off.
What's great is I can scratch that off my shiny object syndrome checklist and put it to bed and just know that that's not for me and move on with my life.
Yeah.
And if you don't do that, I feel like this thing always like pulls you back in the back of your mind where it's like, what if, should I?
Yeah.
Where now, anytime a YouTube training comes up, I don't have to waste my time yet again looking at it. I've been there. I've done that. I tried it. It wasn't for me. And the biggest thing is like, I don't make it mean something that it's not.
Right.
Like some people attach that as like, I
worthiness.
Quit and I couldn't do it and I'm not worthy. It's like, no, you didn't like it. So you stopped. Okay. We've got 60 more years of life to live. Like, are we going to dwell on 3 months of a YouTube channel that you didn't like doing?
Totally.
Like, don't put meaning attached to anything that doesn't require that heavy of a meaning, you know?
Yeah, big time. I have seen this like time and time again with social where people will be like, oh, I'm like, everybody's on TikTok and I don't like making short form videos and I don't really like showing up live, but like, I think I should be on TikTok. And I'm like, that sounds like a nightmare. Like, it actually sounds like you're going to hate it. And that's actually not a platform that you can like really outsource that much. So you're either going to do that miserably, which your audience is going to know, or like, but you love LinkedIn, double down in your LinkedIn DMs. Like, make a strategy there. It's so interesting because I think that is like one of the biggest pitfalls of entrepreneurs is that like sunken cost fallacy is like, I've already done a little bit of this, so now I should pay for this for the rest of my life because like I've paid once or twice. But it's like, it's actually really healthy to know like, I don't like this and like, or this doesn't add ROI to my business or this isn't fun for me and that's a priority for me. And so I'm not going to do it.
Well, and when you say sunken cost, I'm like, okay, so there's a sunken cost because, you know, you did TikTok for a certain amount of months. I'll actually give you a great example of a lot of sunken costs. I tried meta ads. Like lots of real estate agents do ads on Facebook and Instagram. Some have great success from it. You know, we get ad agencies calling us daily. As realtors, we're just like this very easy target. Like we get called by everybody all of the time because they think we have all of this money and all we want to do is spend it on VAs and marketing, right? And
your phone number is so public.
Our phone number is just on lawn signs.
Yeah, like on buses. Not yours, but.
Exactly. And so anyways, I connected with this ad agency. It's the first one that I was like, you know what? Yeah, like this feels right. Like everyone else is running scared. I'm going to double down. I'm going to try this. Like I've mastered, you know, my events and my email and my Instagram. Let's double down on my Instagram, which has been working great. So obviously I'm paying them monthly and then I'm paying the ad cost. So thousands are gone. I hate it.
Yeah.
I hate every part of it. Like in one way, I'm like, oh my gosh, this is so amazing. I'm getting these warm leads because they're not even cold leads. Like they're warm. So this is how I tricked myself into it because I've never cold called or nothing like that. I've never done anything cold. But I was like, Cheryl, it's okay. This is warm stuff. They're giving you their name, their email, their number, their budget, where they want to move to, and they're in the Waterloo region. It's going to be easy. They don't want to talk to you.
Yeah.
Like they are filling out this like Facebook ad form at 12 a.m. when they're scrolling and they might be thinking about real estate, or they've had 5 agents before you and they're filling it out to see like if you're the one that next one on their hit list.
Yeah,
you know,
they're not good clients.
Right? Like they're not the good clients that you want to work with. And so I could have dwelled on that. Yeah. I lost thousands. I spent a good amount of months on it. But I'm just like, again, so what? Like that was a great experiment. I know it's not for me. I can move on. What's great too is I can now share that experience with my coaching clients.
Totally.
And be like, this was my experience. So before you make that investment, like here's someone on the other side that I'll share like how I felt about it, the process, everything. But yeah, that was a huge sunken cost. But you know what's even more of a sunken cost? Continuing to do it when you don't want to.
Literally. Honestly, it's so interesting because this is something that comes up all the time. And there's probably realtors out there who have had awesome success with ads and love their ads, you know, and are super happy with it. But it really depends on the type of business you want to grow.
Yeah.
And it's actually funny. I know somebody, they always ask me for advice about social. They're a realtor. And they ask me and they're like, this person's doing this. And I saw them and they were on YouTube and on the bus sign. And do you think I should do Instagram? And I'm like, Jesus H. I'm like, you need to figure out what it is that you want to do. And just because that man does it and it's really working for him, you actually don't even know if it's working for him.
Right.
Like, someone could have watched your ads and been like, wow, Cheryl's killing it with her ads. She's making a ton of money. Like, I have seen the inside of people's business sausages, you know, where you see what they spend on stuff and how much they make on stuff. It's not nice.
No, it's not nice. I think that's a huge misconception in entrepreneurship completely, is just because someone looks successful doesn't mean they are your definition of success.
Totally.
Right? And like, my definition of success is a ton of cash in the bank.
Yeah.
Where other people's definition is like, I want to look successful.
Totally.
Right?
Totally.
And so you have to ask yourself, okay, what's my definition of success? And until you actually know how the sausage is made of those people you're putting on a pedestal, that's not what you should be striving for, or that's not what you should be like envious of.
Maria and I paid for coaching at the beginning of the social snippet, and we were coached by an agency that ended up going under. And they gave us some crazy advice, like crazy advice, that we would be with them if we had followed. Like, 100%, like no doubt in my mind. And we had so much organic success. Like, we were seeing so much, like, we've never really run ads or done anything like that. That's likely going to change. But like, you know, we've just seen so much organic success. And we were going to bet it all because these people told us to do this in a certain way, right? And so you also need to like gut check some of that stuff too, right? So if you're like, you know, cash in the bank is the most important thing. Time with my family is like the most important thing. For me, it's like, you know, time freedom is like a huge piece. Like, I would rather have less clients. I've let go of clients who are extremely difficult that require a ton of my time because that's actually not how I want to work. And so asking yourself some of those questions as you build is super important.
Yes, absolutely. And walking away from the people who are giving you money but costing you more.
Yeah.
Yeah. You said something which you might have quoted from someone else where it's like some money's meant to be left on the table.
Yes. But actually that even like it's Natalie Ellis quote, but like it's even the same thing with like this Google ads or Facebook ads kind of stitch too, is that like you could probably make money doing anything.
Yeah.
Like anything. You like Cher, like you could run some ads, you could all of a sudden become a realtor, LinkedIn influencer.
Other than my email marketing agency, apparently.
Yeah. I'm not into the email marketing agency. Just because I think email marketing alone, it needs a whole funnel. I'm like, I don't advise. But like, you know, just because you can make money doing all those things doesn't mean you should.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
And so it's like for you, it's like you could probably sell email templates to realtors, and then you could also do a course, and then you could also train online, and then, you know, does that take away from the actual business of you selling houses? Probably. What makes you more money? What brings you more joy? And maybe you want to sell less houses and you actually want to build up the coaching part of your business. Then that's great. But then it's really about that trade. And that's even for Maria and I, like, we're always balancing that with High Vibe Women, because it's like, we know the path to pour the gas on it.
Right.
We're not willing to do what it's going to take to pour the gas on it right now, just because of the season of life I'm in.
Right.
So it's like, I think we could cross country this shit. Right. We have a lot of interest. I'm a new mom. Yeah. So it's like, that's actually just like not the season we're in. Right. And so I think it's also figuring out some of that.
I think that's a huge thing for all entrepreneurs to ask themselves, is just because I can do this, should I do this? And I think it's because we start off really scrappy and we're doing it all. And then at some point you need to let go of some things, if that's what you want. Like if you want to grow or scale, or if you just want to enjoy some more time freedom now that you've worked so hard for a certain success. And a lot of people, you know, their identity is wrapped up in one thing that they can do. But they're not enjoying it anymore.
Yeah.
But they feel like they should, because that's what they're known for, or they can do it so well. But like our mutual friend Megan is like a huge preacher of this, is like, just because you can do something well doesn't mean you should be doing it if you don't like it or you don't want to do it.
Yeah, Maria is even such a good example of this. Is when we started the social snippet. Maria is obviously great at doing people's social.
Right.
She was like, I don't actually want to be the person doing this for people. Like, I don't think this makes the most sense for us. So it's really about finding that balance. Mm-hmm. Okay, Cher, my last question for you. If someone was listening to this podcast, they're so excited about, building local community. They're excited about, leaning in that way. What's like the first thing you would tell them to do? Like maybe they don't know anyone locally, or they're like, do I go to a Chamber of Commerce event? Like, do I go to a book launch? Like what's the thing that you would tell them to do to try to gain some steam locally?
I would first ask myself, like, who do I want to meet?
Yeah.
Right? So if you want to meet a certain personality or certain people in a certain industry, like get clear on who you want to meet so you have some sort of direction. And then get out into the community. And you're getting out in the community with that lens. So if you want to meet like fellow collaborative, abundant people in the community, you're going to an event and then someone's giving you the scarcity competitive vibes, like, maybe shuffle down the charcuterie board table and find someone at the other cheeses that might have a better vibe, right?
Near the brie.
Yeah, near the brie. They're always near the brie. And I heard this, a few years ago when I started pivoting my real estate business to more resale, was the more you know, the more you grow. Mm. And so just keep getting to know people and do it from a relationship standpoint. Like building that relationship-based business, I think, is so important. And that is where everyone is shifting because we've been so transactional for so long. Yeah. And like this huge trust recession we're going into, relationships are going to win even during the trust recession. And so be genuine, make your deposits, and care about what they care about and be curious about what they care about.
So many good nuggets there. Cher, I love you. I could talk to you all day, but where can people get into your world?
So you can follow me on Instagram at SherGets.
Yay. And listen to your pod.
You can listen to my podcast. So I have a podcast. It's called Better Your Business for Realtors. I do have lots of other entrepreneurs apparently listening because I think that there's lots of great nuggets that can transfer to their industry. Like we're a service industry, right?
Yeah,
just like a lot of other entrepreneurs are. So you can take those lessons and apply it to yours.
And Cher will be back on the podcast. She's got some exciting things coming up in the next year. So we'll have to have her back when she's launching them. But Cher, such good nuggets. We will share this with everybody. And make sure to DM Cher and let her know what resonates and what you're going to try.
I would love that. Thank you.
Thank you.